love board games. We love getting together with friends, chatting, discussing plans, conning our friends, and weaseling through negotiations. Every time we return to our numerous games, it's a brand new experience. Each game is flavored by the friends we're playing with at the time, and each game has its own world with unique rules for us to study and plot with. And boy, there are a lot of games, and each of these games comes with a lot of pieces. Now, those pieces can be a lot of fun, but not always. Sometimes the table is small, making them annoying to deal with. As we grow up, time becomes very precious, and it's really hard to make the time to play these games, or even set them up. Of course, there's always kids and pets, which can ruin games that have been set up, thieve away pieces, or just destroy anything they can get their hands on. So what if we had an app to reduce setup time and remove tedious pieces that don't add to the experience? Preston here is setting up a game called Through the Ages. It's a fun little game, but it takes far too long to set up. If he didn't have to deal with these little cubes, the game would be set up in a fraction of the time. This is exactly what we've done for our Capstone project. We've created an app that'll allow users to remove all of these little pieces that take time to set up but don't really add anything. Or even some of the pieces that are kind of fun to have, but they're a pain to deal with. You can choose what you want to keep and what you want to get rid of. You can remove these little tokens and replace them with a simple counter on a phone. And that way, you'll be able to save time and get straight to the fun. As you can see, Preston is still going strong despite the increased speed. So let's go ahead and take a look at the app that would save him so much time. If you look over to the right side, you can see one possible setup for this game. I've broken it up into resources, supplies, and actions, selected colors that I think are appropriate, and set their starting values. While neither this page nor the game itself really show off the capabilities of this app as a whole, it does show the need for the app. So let's go over and see what this thing can do. Alright, this is the home page of our app. We're going to go ahead and go to the Edit and Betrayal. Now, Betrayal House on the Hill is a game that me and my friends have only played a little bit, as you can tell by the mint condition of the box on the left here. Now, this particular game is fairly popular and well known amongst board gamers. And it's also known for having terrible pieces you have to deal with. The character cards in particular are known to have issues. On these cards, players will attempt to keep track of information like their might, sanity, speed, and knowledge. When it comes to the card, attributes actually move up in strange patterns. As you can see here, it goes from death, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. So we can't just use a simple counter in order to keep track of this information. We also start at the 4th state, so that's 3. And we can move up and down at any time, and sometimes cards will have you reset to your starting value. The reason the app is so helpful for these character cards is because the clips used to track information on them either don't cling to them at all because they're too loose, or they're too tight and they destroy the cards. Over here in general information, I'm also keeping track of how many omens we've had, or how many turns we are into the haunt, if that's relevant, with a simple counter. Over here, I have a state tool that's simply set up to have 2 different states, whether or not we're exploring or if the haunt has begun. This is very useful in some games like Twilight Imperium, if turns can last an hour. And then I have some dice over here. Now, whenever we do a haunt roll, we're rolling 6 dice. And the dice in this game go 1, 2, and 0, so I'm going to -6 from the result to account for this. I also have a timer for players who are taking too long, as well as a text tool to keep track of notes relevant to the haunt. I can of course change the color on any of these, or swap out some of the settings. We have a few other tools we can use if we want, such as the stopwatch and the success die, but neither of these are very helpful for this particular game. When playing online, we may want to edit on how much information each player can see. So the professor, I currently have set that the professor is allowed to edit, but none of the other players can even see this particular page. Whereas general information, everyone can edit and everyone can see. Now, how does this look in play? Well, here it is. If I want to roll a die, or switch the settings, or if I go over here to change what my values are for my different attributes. Looks like here I forgot to set speed, but that's an easy enough thing to fix. Now in online play, I of course wouldn't be able to see Flash's information over here, but this is locally set up so that one player would be able to track all of the information for all of the different characters in the game. Let's go over here. And you know what? I really like this, so I'm going to save this to the cloud so I can share it with friends or download it if I ever accidentally delete it from my device. And here's the share code if I want to share with a friend. With that, we've now concluded the demo.
Now onto our technologies. The Board Game Helper's client and server are both built using C# and the .NET framework. We used Xamarin to build our forms for the application. And our online features leverage Google Firebase for authentication and Microsoft Azure for our server hosting. Live games on multiple devices are connected via SignalR. These systems and technologies combine to form the Board Game Helper, which serves users with 7 unique tools such as dice, timers, and counters, and around 3 dozen different settings for these tools such as number of sides and number of dice on dice tools, or increment values on counter tools. Many of these features were suggested by beta users, including the entirety of the Success Dice tool and a number of advanced features for the normal dice and state tools.
On behalf of our team, thank you for watching this video and learning a little bit more about our app. We're very excited to make it and we're very happy with how it's turned out. Please have a wonderful rest of the day, and in the words of Will Wheaton, play more games.